Hey guys, welcome back to the Growers Corner. So for this video, I wanted to kind of tie in with our first video from the week, and when we were talking about judging when your plant is ready and how to, or when to harvest, right? Now we want to talk about how to go about harvesting. So when you are ready to harvest and you are getting ready to cut down your plant, right? One of the first things you need to consider before you even grab the scissors is, where are you going to cure this plant? Where are you going to hang it? Because this could take several weeks. And so you need to have a place that's dark and dry, very little light, and good and dry. Plenty of air needs to be moving around in that dark, dry space as well. Hanging it off the ground is the most general way to go about doing it. But you can also do the accordion hangers, right? Or shelving trays, things like this. But it needs to be dry, it needs to have moving air, and it needs to have very little light, period, no matter how you're going to dry it. Okay? Now, again, it needs to be someplace that it can be for quite a while. It's going to be there for a week, 10 days, maybe longer, depending on when you harvest, what the weather's like outside, etc., etc. If you got to throw a de-hum in there, etc., etc., to help draw that moisture out. Now, when you have got that established, you know where it's going to go, you're ready to go. One of the things that we like to do is you have to use something to keep it off the ground, right? Because when you start talking about 5, 6, 7, 8 foot plants tall, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 feet round, that's a fairly large plant. You can't hold all that, right? Who wants to take one clipping, run down, hang it, come back up, clip it, do all this stuff? So we would lay plastic sheeting, clean plastic sheeting down, and you start at the top, right? You start at the apex of the plant. And one of the things that we would like to do, even if you've topped, there's going to be a top area of either the plant or the branch that you're going at, right? So you want to cut that off. And where you want to clip, if this is your trunk, right, and this is your branch that comes off, okay, you cut the top off right about here, right? You cut the top right above your little nook. Top comes off, you've got a branch, you can hang that top on the string, no big deal. Now, here's the top of your trunk, here's the branch that comes off, right? If this is the top branch, all you do is you come in, you cut right below here, okay? Now you've got this nice little hook at the end of your branch. You can hang your plant upside down. And when you cut here, when you cut it off, you automatically make the new top for the other branch on this side. And you cut here. And so you just cut branch by branch by branch, and you've got a little chunk of trunk to hang it with. And if it's not a clone, if it's a seed plant, they will be pairs, not just one branch. So you'll have a branch on this side and a branch on this side. And so what you do is you cut it at the same place, and then when you got this chunk of stem with two branches, you simply cut that chunk of stem in half. Now you've got a hanger for each branch. And you hang the branch on your line, and at first, ideally we want as few leaves as possible, right? Because you want to get rid of that chlorophyll, you want to get rid of that extra moisture, you don't want that adding to the humidity in the room, taking longer to dry out. So the more fan leaves that you can remove, the faster and better your cure is going to be regardless. So you're cutting it, you've got it cut down, you hang it up. You want to keep those buds. Now, they don't necessarily want to be touching, okay? But you want those buds and those chunks as close as humanly possible. A, for space saving and so that you can fit as many in as close as possible. But B, you want to be able to control how quickly they dry. If they dry too quickly, right, they're going to duff out, they're going to dry out, you're going to lose a bunch of weight and possible potency. If they dry too slowly, you can occur mold and all these other issues, bud rot, etc., because they're being moist and staying moist for too long. So you need to have that air movement, and you need to have space for that air to move through. Okay, but you want them as close as humanly possible. And then as they dry out, they're going to shrink up. You're going to start with a bud that's about yay big, right? And about 2-3 days later, initially it's going to get real soft, and it's going to feel like a really soft cotton ball, and you're going to freak out. Oh God, what's going on? Oh no, oh no. Over the course of the next 2 or 3 days, that bud is going to go from yay big to about yay big. And it's going to go from a bud that's about yay big and squishy, soft, to a bud that's about yay big and nice and hard. Now, the stem is also going to shrink up, and it's going to be less soft, less malleable, right? You're going to be able to bend it, and it's going to crease and do things like that, right? Keep going. Keep bunching them up, because like I said, that bud, the whole chunk is going to shrink. So you want to keep them together so that they don't dry out too quickly. You want to keep bunching them up, and as they dry out, you can keep them, monitor that moisture, keep them fairly moist so that you can get to that desired cotton candy moisture level. All right, guys. Until next time, just some stuff to think about, some key components to keep in mind. Until next time, this is the Grower's Corner.